Hi, it's Pat Beaupre Becker, certified weight loss coach. And I'm here today to talk to you about a diet versus an eating plan. So I have a coaching program that I work with women mostly over the age of 60, and many of the women I work with, as I did my many years of my life, have kind of yo-yo dieted. They create a plan, they find a plan, and maybe they get to their goal weight, and then what happens is they give up their plan. Maybe they never even make it to their goal weight, and they give up their plan before they even get there. And so when I work with people, sometimes people are very challenging and they say, well, I want a diet. And I try to communicate that what I do is I'm not really looking for people who want to go on a diet. So my program is really a weight loss program that is a long-term program, meaning we're not in any rush to get to a goal weight. What I want to do is help women who really want to change their eating habits, because there are 70% of Americans who are on some kind of weight loss program. And it used to be, there used to be a study that was referred to continuously that said that I think it's only like 1% of people stick to diets and continue to lose weight and stick to that weight loss, that maintenance plan over long periods of time. Well, right now we're actually looking at different kinds of research, because that was based on a study that was done, I think, in the 50s. And what that study did was it followed people who were in a program in a hospital. So we've got so much more information about weight loss plans. People are so much more educated about health and about what exercise and all kinds of healthy eating. So we have a lot more people who are open to the idea of finding a way to live a healthy lifestyle and to stick to it. So again, I'm not sure if I said my name. It's Pat Beaupre Becker, certified weight loss coach. So what I want you to know, so when someone says to me, well, what's the difference between this plan? We'll start by looking at their goals. What is it they want to achieve? Do they want to lose weight? Do they want to maintain weight? How much do they want to lose? What is the kind of lifestyle that they want to have long term? And sometimes people will be really focused on the diet, right? And I say diet in the sense that we can look at diet in two ways, right? A diet could be just the way you eat, like a person's diet is the kind of food that they eat. And then, of course, there's the other, which is a diet. I'm going on a diet. And what that is, generally in my life, it was a lot of restriction, deciding on some crazy diet that was going to be really restricted so that you could lose a bunch of weight, get to that weight, and there was never a way that those diets could be sustained over a long period of time. And so, of course, that's why they're not successful. Now, I myself, I've gone on vegan diets, and I've gone on Atkins diet, I've gone on, I don't know, vegetarian diets, choosing it for health, not necessarily for other reasons. And always at the end of that diet period, ended up giving up that way of eating because it wasn't sustainable. So what I believe is that there really is a difference between a diet and a healthy eating plan. Because when I work with my clients, the point is this: is this something that is sustainable? Can you actually stick with this long term, right? If it's really restrictive, you're going to feel deprived. If you're not getting the nutrients you need, or the number of calories, even though we're not counting calories, if you're not getting the food you need, then you're not going to sustain it, and it's not going to be healthy. So I love to ask my clients, what's the rush? Why are you in such a rush to lose the weight when this is actually not a diet, but a long-term eating plan? So when you consider that a lot of people who diet, or yourself in your history, you've dieted, you've gone off diets, you've gone back on diets, you've given them up. What is the kind of food that you actually like to eat? And is there, in the food that you do like to eat, is there healthy elements? And how do you keep those elements of the food that you already eat, that you like to eat, that you're successful, you know you're going to eat it, and keep those in your diet, in your eating plan? And then there is, there is a certain amount of food that will help you to lose weight, but it still has to be structured in a way that it's the same kind of food that will get you, that once you get to your goal weight, you'll just be adding a little more food once you want to stop losing weight. So I really think that the difference between an eating plan and a diet is really important, because I really teach my clients to love the food that they're eating now, even if it's on a weight loss. And it's not focusing on the number on the scale. It's focusing on the life you want to have. Because for so many of my clients and for myself, our focus on weight wasn't a very healthy focus. It was more a compulsive focus, or it took up so much space, and we spent so much time in our lives thinking about food and worrying about our bodies, it was a constant chatter. If we were depressed, we took food and we would use food to make us feel even worse. So food really became not something that was nourishing, but food was really more like a punishment. And so, of course, if you look at a diet, and if your history of diets is a punishment, it's not going to be sustainable. I want to teach you how to love your body, number one, and how to love the food that loves you back. Because I like to ask my clients, why would you love something that was so terrible for you? I have clients who say, but I love ice cream. And I'm not saying everyone has to give up ice cream, but if you say, I love ice cream, you are actually choosing a lover that is going to hurt you. Kind of like I think about when I was in my teens and I would be falling in love with these guys and they were totally not interested, totally out of my reach, or not even out of my reach. They weren't interested, but I would be so in love with them and feel so bad about it. And that's what we do with food, right? We love food. We have to have these kinds of foods that have been proven to us over a long lifetime. We are not babies here, right? We've been around the block, so we know what our body needs, really. The question is, how do we take the knowledge that we have and actually apply it? So that's really where the brain comes in, because food, there is a certain quality of food that when you put processed food in your body, your hormones go crazy. And so you really are taking the control out of your prefrontal cortex, because your body is reacting to this food. Your body is getting those hits of dopamine, and it's like, whoa, this is just too amazing. I need more dopamine, right? And so we eat this food that is not about nourishing, but maybe it's about getting high or getting a hit, getting some kind of difference than being who we are. So that's really something to look at. Like, what do you really want in your life? And I love working with women who are 60, because ladies, come on. How many years more are we going to struggle with weight? How many years more are we going to give our power over to an inanimate object that's maybe made of flour and sugar? It's like, it is really time for us to join the evolution of us, the revolution of food, and understanding that the kind of food that we eat is empowering or disempowering. So I want you to think not about a diet. I want you to think about an eating plan. I want you to think about loving the food that loves you. Could you imagine, like, maybe your grandparents or your great-grandparents, and thinking that, they see a carrot or a cauliflower or some food that they cook, maybe it's an eggplant, and they would just see that that food was love because they knew that they were nourishing their families. So if we can look at food and start to love the good food that is there for us, that is growing in the earth. I mean, it is kind of amazing. The whole thing is a miracle, right? We get to eat food that grows out of the dirt and it nourishes our bodies. It's created to give our bodies life. And what we have done is in modern society, we have begun to rely on factory food, factory generated, the animals are treated like a factory, and the food is created in a laboratory. So, it's funny because if I think I'm like an old hippie and going back to the land, and in some ways that's what we really need to do. Go back to the land, because right now we have not only this romanticized idea of going back to the land, we have scientific research that tells us that food that is 100% whole food nourishes our body. It's telling us, the research is telling us that diabetes, obesity, autism, Alzheimer's, all of these things, they're looking into our bodies. They're looking into the gut, the relationship between our gut and the gut biome and inflammation and how that affects the brain. So women, it's time to wake up. Let's get with the program. Let's really commit ourselves to learning how to love what loves us. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying we can wake up one day and just change, but there's so much information. Like in the programs that I have, I teach women how to change the way they think, how to fall in love with food. Like, how do you do that? Because desire is really an emotion that is created from our thoughts. So desiring food that is not good for us, we can continue to do that, but we could also take our brains and we can use the latest research on brain science to understand that we actually can retrain our brain to love food that loves us. So what I want you to know, that there is a difference between a diet and an eating plan. And I'm not for diets, but I am for a sustainable long-term eating plan that provides your body with nourishment, that slims you down and makes you look good, and it makes you feel good. Because I want us at the age of 60 plus to really start having fun, enjoying life, and continuing to give back, but this time in a different way. At 60 years old, life is a little bit different. Our values may be still deepened, but we have more time. We have to consider what it is that we like. There's so many more things that we could really open our hearts and our minds and our souls open to if we're not worried about food and chatter and food in our brains and taking our bodies and eating and, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight. It's just really unhealthy. So I want you to find a good food plan, something that if you need to lose weight, it can help you to lose weight right now. But then when you get to that goal weight, it is the same food that is loving you. And I want you to learn how to love the food that loves you. So that's it for today. And I thank you so much for being here. And I want you to know, yes, there is a difference between a diet and an eating plan. My name is Pat Beaupre Becker, and Beaupre Coaching is my company, and I would love to help you with your weight loss. Just, I'll put a link, and you can send me an email, or you can text me or messaging me, and we can talk about how I can help you if you want an eating plan that is sustainable so that you can have a life that is free and full of joy. Okay, you guys, bye.